All right, so I just want to give you a little update on what's going on with this Jaguars rebuild I've been doing. As you can see, we're in 2032, ridiculous season. Mainly why I wanted to do this is just talk about playbooks working together or whatever. I started this off with doing Atlanta, and we had a really good first season. Made it to playoffs and lost a bunch of times in the AFC Championship. Then drafted a really good wide receiver who we'll see in a sec, and we won a championship in the Cincinnati Bengals offense with the playbook change. And this is 2 years later. We did lose again the following year in the AFC Championship. And I just did a whole thing on the best RB running back playbooks for the quick sim. So I decided to switch to Green Bay and see what we could do with that. And I honestly thought we would have done a lot better having all these 99s. But, it is what it is. Did have injuries, so that did hurt us for 3 games. Madden wanted to make sure that we weren't going to have a perfect season, which I think we could have had we not lost a bunch of players a few random weeks. But 96 overall team, 97 on offense, 96 on defense. First in points, fourth in passing. I'll show you why we're not even first. First is going to be a little ridiculous. First in rush yards, so we did have that, which was part of our accomplishment here, which helped our defense. We had really bad rankings the last 2 years because we were using the Bengals, and we were 7th in points allowed, 4th in pass yards against, and 1st in rush yards against. So that's something you like to see because we're running the ball more and everything. Talk about the schemes before we talk about the players. West Coast zone run with Green Bay, and we did the Rams with the base 3-4. Never really lost enough to change it. Thought I would change it if we lost enough, but we did not. Never lost 2 games in a row, so I saw no reason to change anything. And then as far as players go, I mean, just an absolute god squad. You got Trevor Lawrence, who's a 99 overall at 32. This Alex Conrad guy, he's a really good player. Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and this guy we drafted, Carey Galloway, is a 6'3", 206, 99 overall superstar. I don't think we'll be keeping all these guys. Maybe we'll have to release some players to keep him, but we're definitely going to be losing our tight end, but tight end's not really that important. Offensive line's pretty darn good. We are missing our center. We have backups. Trayvon Walker's coming towards the end of his time here. Never really got it going. It was always Josh Hines Allen, who was a beast, and we're trying to rebuild someone in that. We'll probably have to replace someone on the defensive line there. As far as defensive tackle, our rookies, we absolutely hit it out of the ballpark with these rookies, and they were undrafted, free agent projected. We drafted them at the 5th, 6th, and 7th round. Linebacker in the 80s, nothing crazy. You'd like to have one that's like 88 or 90, but it is what it is. Finally have 90 overall corners, and our safeties are just amazing. Drain Greenard is a 99 overall, and he's our sub linebacker as well. So we have some really nice, decent backup safeties. Just the way I like to put my team together. That's one thing I love about Madden 26. You can do all kinds of stuff with putting your teams together, and I never used any coaching abilities the entire season. I put that all into rebuilding players and building up rookies. I only use play sheets as boosts. Whether they boost or not, I don't know. I just let the CPU pick at this time. Let's talk about stats, because I thought we'd have some better stats in this. But it's a playbook. It's a random number generator. You can look at it that way. But sometimes it's not. I don't know. It depends. It just depends on the sim, I guess. So we almost got 4,700 yards passing with 47 passing touchdowns and 5 interceptions using Green Bay. Not bad. Alex Conrad, he's not a 99 overall, and he doesn't have any abilities, but he still had 74 broken tackles for 507. missed one game, so he definitely would have done better. He could add another, probably add another 100 yards to that. So he had 1762, and he left the game, so he might have had even more. You could take away some of what Vega did, who was a wide receiver we drafted in the second round and moved him to halfback because he kind of fits that mold. Travis Hunter, Kerry Galloway. I thought these guys would have done much better, but they didn't. It's probably what's. I mean, we had just as good numbers from wide receivers in Green Bay and Sims with, whatever the Ravens got. But also, the CPU has some ridiculous teams. They're building too. Like everybody, there's a good amount of teams with 99, not 99, but 90 plus overall offenses and or defenses. So it's not like we're, going against CPUs that can't build. But I want to talk about why we didn't lead the league in passing, or we're a little bit closer. This guy, Pat Dunn, he's only 6'1", 234 pounds, but he had 5,500 passing yards, 52 passing touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. I mean, this guy's been balling ever since he came to the league. And these are the dumbest rushing numbers I've ever seen. And then this is even dumber. Is it? I don't know. This is the CPU doing this. This isn't even me controlling a team in the Cincinnati playbook. This is Jamar Chase in his 11th year having 123 catches, almost 2,200 yards, and 25 receiving touchdowns. That's absurd. That's crazy. So you can break 2,000 yards rushing, and you can break 2,200 yards receiving. And I'm okay with the ridiculous receiving numbers, as long as you can get ridiculous rushing numbers and get close to what Saquon did. So I'm fine with it. I'll live with it. And let's see if we can complete a Super Bowl here. I want to see if, with the running game we got, and if that is what we were missing in the playoffs, because we had a lot of, we were in Atlanta, a lot of passing, a lot more passing than rushing, and we were in obviously Cincinnati, and that was no rushing, and really hurting our defense. So let's see if we have a more balanced team. We can make the playoffs here. So let's get into it. Before we get into our matchup against the Ravens, I just want to point out here that the Bengals lost 17-21 to the Browns, and the Browns have been a really big bugaboo, thorn in my side in this rebuild, and they are in the Minnesota offense and defense, so they've been doing pretty good in that. They've been showing up. So 10-7, they made the playoffs. But that's funny. All right. Anyway, let's get into what we got going on here. I didn't pick any of these play sheets. I let the CPU do this. I did, however, change these. They wanted field general and move the chains, but our wide receivers and our quarterback don't need that. They've been very good. So I'm going with stuff that hopefully can help the running game here. Insider training, significant chance of broken tackles, inside run plays, and blocking. And then same thing with outside run plays. So other than that, I just went with what the CPU picked. So hopefully we can get our running game going, and that's what we need for success in the playoffs. All right, so we are down our center, but we have a guy that's just as good in there now, and we're down now our Sam linebacker. It's all right. We got another guy backing him up. It's just as good. So let's see if we can get a win here at home as the number 1 seed against the 9-8 Baltimore Ravens. This would truly be an upset, and they're also missing a ton of players. So yeah, we got the win, and we got a lot of points here. Let's see how that game went. 16-10. You'd expect that we'd win a lot more games, and that puts us up against the Cleveland Browns, who are on a run here as an 87 overall team. And yeah, take a look at them. They're second in rushing. So I expect a win here, but let's see what we got to do to get ourselves back into the playoffs. How do we fare in this game? Not great. Not great there. Okay. 1 sack from Wayne Trevino. Got a couple interceptions, though. Take that. Turnovers will win you the game and lose you the game. All right, let's do some training here and see what we got to do. So they riot shield. All right, let's get riot shield back up here. That's what they're suggesting. Who's riot shield on? Oh, I fucking hate when oh, there it is. All right, so I got everything going here. I don't want this. We'll go with this. Since insider trading didn't work too well, moved the chains I kept. Don't want that. So that didn't work. Let's try workhorse here. We'll go with that. See if that helps us get our back some boosts. Change the wear and tear here. We're going to accept. See who needs some rest. I mean, this is just riveting stuff. I want to see, do we have a better chance of winning a Super Bowl with a more balanced offense? You know, it's great to put up 2,200 yards to a wide receiver, but you lose in the first round of playoffs. I mean, who wants that? Upgrade some people here. Joshua Weeks. This man's starting at Sam now for us. Byron Jones, our fullback. Very important piece. Doesn't show up on the stat sheets, but you know how important he is. Chauncey Haywood, a superstar, 71 overall player that was just sitting, and he's 6'6", 212. He was just sitting. There's so many players now in this far into the rebuild. They're just sitting in free agency. All right. Well, this would be a humongous upset if we lost. And we'll talk about that if it happens. I don't think this should happen. We've met the Cleveland Browns many times in this rebuild in the playoffs. Can we survive them again? We're going back to the Super Bowl, baby. We are going back to the Super Bowl. Finally, let's go take a look at this game. 42-25, and that's what we're talking about. How about that? Trevor Lawrence, 5 passing touchdowns. Didn't do it in the run game, but Kerry Galloway, 7 receptions, 195 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Carried us, my man. That absolutely carried us. DJ Stocker, the Will, a sack and a half. Joshua Weeks, the Sam, a sack and a half. Look at that. I guess we did some blitzing here. Okay, no interceptions. I will take that. And we're taking on the LA Rams. The LA Rams have made quite a few runs into the playoffs for this. Weekly awards, we finally got one. There you go. How about the Rams, though? Rams look pretty good. We'll have to take a look at the history in a minute. But, all right, let's get to the Super Bowl. All right, so here we are in the playoffs, the Super Bowl against the Rams. I believe this is who we won our last Super Bowl, our first Super Bowl against. and a pretty easy matchup. It was a really high-scoring game, so here we meet again. Rams, second in points, fifth in pass. Not very good at rush, but they had a pretty good defense. So, I mean, they don't have the depth we have, but they have a pretty good team. They got some really good starters. Don't let the overalls fool you. They still got Jared Verse, and they got like 390 overall wide receivers. Puka's still really good, and they have a couple 80 overall wide receivers. They had a really nice offensive line, like one hole. They're good where it counts, except for corner, and their best corners in the slot. So I really expect our outside wide receivers to eat, and that should be what carries us. We also put our best corner in the slot to take away the most important part of this playbook, which is the slot for the Rams. And it's no longer Puka. They have a 95, 97 overall wide receiver that's in the slot for them. That's a really good player. So that's how we're approaching this. Let's look at the awards. Of course, Pat Dunn, he wins MVP and we get Coach of the Year. Hopefully that's not a jinx, but Jamar Chase and Pat Dunn, absolute crazy season, Offensive Player of the Year. And look at that, Alex Conrad, first year there, playing in a more dominant role, and he gets third in Offensive Player of the Year. Will Anderson still cooking. And then you got Jeff Stratham as Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Steelers. A guy named Dustin Mackey, Defensive Rookie for the Chiefs. And then Pat Dunn over Trevor Lawrence. There's Alex Conrad, Marion Hampton, and Ashton Genty still cooking. Jamar Chase, great year. Jaden Reed on the Browns, okay. Josh Downs, he's still doing it. We got two Jaguars wide receivers here. I can't believe another offensive lineman made it. Will Anderson, of course. Best linebacker, Jeffrey Bassa over Henley. Defensive back is Owen Hartman, a white guy. How about that? Exciting white, still going in Madden 26. And then best kicker is Maddox Trujillo. So those are the award winners. Let's get into the strategy. Again, you want me to keep putting field general? Won't do it. What did we do last time? We did insider trading, right? No, we did ahead of the chains. And move the chains, no. That worked. And we'll go back with this. All right, so we're all trained up, strategized, whatever you want to call it, and we're ready to go ahead and see if we can win our second Super Bowl against the Los Angeles Rams. This is an absolute dynamite of a team, and let's see if we can get it done. Looks like we're doing pretty good with the balanced offense. We can pass, we can run, we can play defense, and we won 17-14. Let's go. How about that? Jonathan Fitzpatrick is the Super Bowl MVP. We are 2 times Super Bowl champs. Now, the first time we played the Rams, it was a much high-scoring game, and this one's more a defensive battle. I will take it, man. We are 2-time champs, and we had played great defense. Fitzpatrick was 3 sacks. Yeah, look at that. Not much out of Trevor Lawrence. Looks like Jared Verse had a pretty good game as well. So this is all about the defensive battle, running the ball, and I will take it. I will absolutely take that. Let's see if we can look more closer at this game. I hate this. We got it done. 121 yards on the ground from Alex Conrad. Love to see it. Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside, getting it done 4 for 95 and a touchdown. And that was pretty much it. It was a low production here. Trayvon Walker, Jonathan Fitzpatrick combined for 4.5 sacks, with a half sack coming from the interior defensive line. No interceptions, but we played it right. We got it done. Won another Super Bowl. I know we have a God squad, but doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. And we beat a really good Rams team, so I like seeing that the CPU can build some teams still and keep the league competitive. But maybe, just maybe, being able to run the ball in the playoffs is a bit of a it's important. So we'll keep going here, and hopefully this helps. If you guys got any questions, it's just kind of an update to show you what's going on, show you that these playbooks do work. Is this the best combination of playbooks? I got no idea. But if you find something that's working for you, go ahead and do it. There's plenty of coaching abilities out there that helps you build players pretty quickly. There's a lot of information on how to build players quickly, and you can take this in any direction you want. You can, it's awesome. So I'm having a ton of fun rebuilding and finding the best playbooks, and I'm currently working on the best 4-3 defensive playbooks, and I hate myself. I gave it up before, and I want to give it up again. So anyway, see you guys very soon for some breakdown of the slow sim league, so we can see what kind of playbooks and abilities and stuff are helping lower end teams turn it around. We're trying to turn it around with some bad teams, so we'll see what we can do with that. All right, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you can at the bottom. Boost this video so I trend more and we get more subscribers and I can make more videos and that whole cycle. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Later.